Hello, everyone. Hope you all had a good weekend. And being it's Monday means time for spooky places. And this week we shall tell of a few in Georgia, starting with the Headless Grandfather House in Columbus, Georgia. The original owner, Mr. C, had been a local big shot in North Carolina. Married man, he made much money and many affairs. He had a nice home in Columbus, Georgia. Some of the affairs resulted in illegitimate children. Grover C., who had been born around the turn of the last century, had a strong will and curiosity about everything. He rose in the local business world based on his strong drive, which was never quenched or extinguished, even in old age. Pressure of his complicated life caused Grover C. to have a breakdown. By 1962, he had a practical nurse taking care of him, and he died in the early 60s. A year after his death, Grover's son, Louis C., was building a brick flower planter at his home in Columbus. Working with him was Fred, a professional bricklayer. At one point, Louis saw Fred freeze like he had seen a ghost. Questioned Fred, related, "I've just seen Mr. C big as life." He described his vision, which included the white pants Mr. C always wore. Only the bottom half of the figure could be seen. Soon the son, Louis C., had his own ghost encounter of the third kind, actual spirit contact. At night, with the lights out, he spotted a figure in the hall. He knew it had to be his father. He was wearing dark pants and a white shirt. And he had no head. The figure tiptoed toward him. When Lewis appeared to recognize the ghost, it leaped backwards 3 times and then vanished. We now move on to the 1790 Inn and Restaurant in Savannah, Georgia. The 1790 restaurant and inn can be found in the historic district of the glorious town of Savannah, near the corner of Lincoln Street and Bay Street. The city of Savannah is not only beautiful, but it was well planned and easy to navigate. Armed with detailed city map, compliments of the tourist office located at the old railroad station building, you can easily find your way around the town and locate this inn. First entity at the inn is that of Ann Powell. There are several versions about the circumstance leading up to Ann Powell's suicide. However it happened, Ann gambled and lost. Desperate, pregnant, and heartbroken, Ann Powers then threw herself onto the bricks below. Ann Powell's room was on the second floor, 204, which is the area she makes her presence known most strongly. The owners of the 1790 restaurant inn used to make guests who wanted to stay in the room sign a waiver saying that they would not be entitled for their money back if they left in the middle of the night because they were frightened. However, this room is now very popular with ghost seekers and curious folks who know what they are getting into when they rent the room. There's a paranormal experience log one can record experiences in, and has been seen sitting in a chair by the room's fireplace. Unseen female presence is often sensed in the room, and has been known to lay out guest clothes neatly on the bed for them. Some women have come back to the room to find their evening and bedtime clothes taken from the suitcases and laid on the bed. Electrical gadgets, lights, and new tech items like cameras are irresistible to Anne. This entity likes to tease the living. She likes to turn on the lights and clocks on and off in the morning hours. She likes to yank the covers off couples and has been known to throw their covers up in the air for fun. If the living leave jewelry, personal items, and keys on the fireplace mantel, she will take them and put the items in strange places. The entity has a weakness for nice undergarments, but she usually gives back the ones she doesn't like in some manner. Eventually, 2 women staying in the room found that their undergarments were missing from the suitcases. They found them later draped on branches of the inn's Christmas tree in the tavern. Her spirit is as emotional as when she was alive. There is a sinister entity in the basement restaurant kitchen. This female entity is thought to be an African American servant who was heavily into voodoo. She was in charge of the kitchen and probably took pride in her culinary skills. She hates women. This entity pushes women who work in the kitchen in the back and jangles their bracelets at times. The entity will slap or flick women as well. She plays mean tricks on the female staff who work in the restaurant tavern. As in many restaurants, the kitchen will feed its bartenders. One female bartender wrote up an order for a crab cake and put it on the order board. On her dinner break, she found her written order by a plate of crab cakes. It turned out to be an order for a waiting customer who no one had seen this bartender's written order. She was scared. She has scared waitresses by pushing silverware from the table settings laid out on the table. She likes to rattle pots and pans to let the staff know she is there. Pots have been known to take pots off their hooks in the kitchen and drop them. A maintenance man was doing some work when he heard a woman sobbing in the kitchen. He went in the kitchen armed with a knife to find no one living in there. And the last entity at this place is that of a merchant marine. Savannah is a river port city located on the Savannah River, which flows into the Atlantic. The close proximity to the river and sea made it a home of men and their families who made their living on the docks and boats and the shipping industry. Merchant marines were men who worked on boats, many of whom lived in Savannah, a convenient commune. The building was once home to this entity who obviously loved his home. Not much is known about him. Perhaps he died suddenly while on a boat, or could have perished in an epidemic outbreak. Perhaps he doesn't know that he is dead and just going about his own business. But this entity seems to be relaxed, enjoys music, and is helpful to the staff. His apparition, dressed in his uniform, has been seen listening to the piano player and has been seen strolling through the garden room. He helped a staff member who was closing the basement restaurant for the evening by turning off the lights, which the staff member couldn't reach without a chair. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tales for this week, my friends, and wishing you all a spooky night.